प्रजापतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः स्वेदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं चर्षणीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिविव चक्षुराततम्। ॐ श्रीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Can everyone say Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna, Hare Ramakrishna. We will also say Om Pam Parasharaya Namah 3 times. Om Pam Parasharaya Namah, Om Pam Parasharaya Namah, Om Pam Parasharaya Namah. Okay. So we are in chapter 29, the Arudha Padas, page 302 in Santanam's version, verse 30. Arudhat vittabhe saumye sarvadeshadhipo bhavet sarvajño yadi vasasyat kavirvadi ja bhargave. Arudhat vittabhe saumye sarvadeshadhipo bhavet sarvajño yadiva sasyat kavirvadi cha bhargave. Okay. Arudhat vittabhe means in the second house from the Arudha, Saumye. Two meanings. Could be either Mercury or a natural benefit. We don't know for sure. We will figure it out. Sarva deshadhipo bhavet means he will be the ruler of the entire kingdom. So basically a big powerful person. Sarvajño yadiva sasyat. Sarvajñaha means Sarvajñaha yadiva sasyat means one who knows everything. Either one who rules over the entire country or one who is very knowledgeable. So either kingdom or knowledge. Yadiva sasyat kavirvadi ja bhargave. In the case of Venus, it will be kavirvadi. Vadi means eloquent, somebody who is excellent in arguing points, a great debater. Vadi means. Kavihi means poet, an excellent poet or a debater in the case of Venus. So he is specifically saying Venus here. So probably in the last line, Saumya means Mercury, not any generic benefit, which includes Venus also. So bottom line is benefits in the second house from Arudha is favorable. And Mercury seems to be good for overall status and in general knowledge also. Mercury gives knowledge as well as status in the society. And Venus seems to make one good with words, either in debating or expressing oneself in poetry. So in all those areas Venus seems to be good. So Kavirvadi. Arudhat kendra koneshu sthite darapade dvija Lagna jaya pade vapi savalagraha samyute. Arudhat kendra koneshu means from Arudha lagna. Kendra koneshu means in a quadrant or a trine. Site occupied darapade dvija. Darapada means the seventh house Arudha pada. So Arudha pada of the seventh house, if it is in a kendra or kona, in a quadrant or a trine from the Arudha lagna, lagna jaya pade vapi sabalagraha lagna jaya pade vapi sabalagraha samyute. Lagna jaya pada means what? Okay. No, Lagna Jayapada means again Darapada. Lagna means first lagna. Jaya means wife, so 7th house. Pada means pada. So 7th house, the pada of the 7th house from lagna. So he is saying the same thing. The sentence is not finished. Lagna jaya pade vapi sabala graha samyute. Means sabala graha samyute. If it is conjoined by sabala graha, graha means planet, sabala means having strength. Yes, a strong planet is in Dharpada. Vapi means otherwise this also. So he is saying if the Dharpada is, if the A7 is in a quadrant or a trine from AL, or if A7 is occupied by a strong planet or strong planets. He doesn't say anything. He just says Savala Graha. So a strong planet, whether it's benefic or malefic, if it's a strong planet, that is good enough. And what strength he doesn't say. In general, we say exaltation, Molate Kona, that kind of thing. Being in a friendly house.
Sabala is pure, right?
No, Sabala is not pure. Sabala means accompanied by strength. Having Bala. Sa means having. Bala means strength. So strong planet. It's not pure planet. श्रीमाश्च जायते नूनम देशे विख्यातिमान भवेत्. श्रीमाश्च जायते नूनम देशे विख्यातिमान भवेत् means,
so this is still continuous.
yes, continuation. The result is being given. So line 1 of the previous verse, Arudha Kyanakoneshu Sriya Dharpada Dija, was one clause. If Dharpada is in a quadrant or a trine from Arulagna, the second line of that verse, Lagna Jaya Padevavi Sapagraha Samyute, means otherwise if the A7 contains, if the Dharpada contains strong planet. So clause 1, clause 2 are given in verse, line 1, line 2 of that verse. Now in the first line of this verse is being wrapped up. Srimascha jayate nunam deshe vikhyatiman bhavet. Srimascha jayate nunam. That means the person born will be wealthy and prosperous. Deshe vikhyatiman bhavet. He is popular. He has fame in the country. Fame in the country means has wide frame, wide frame, not just in his own town or his own house or his own room, but in a larger area. So he is a famous person. Now let's see the next verse. Huh? So why? So basically A7 shows what kind of people you deal with, right? It's not just wife and partners. It's basically how your interactions with the world are. If a normal person is going around, he goes and he meets people and say, can I talk to you for a few minutes? Whereas if a king or a famous person is going around, let's imagine Sachin Tendulkar going around, right? Or Bill Gates going around, or Bill Clinton going around. The kind of interaction he has with the world is different. Everybody is basically paying attention to them. People are eager to meet them. So basically A7 is not just who you partner with, who your wife is. It is actually more than those. It is actually how you interact with the world, the kind of interactions you engage in. So if that has a strong planet, that means the person's interactions with the world are very powerful interactions. Secondly, if that is in a quadrant or trine from Arulagna, Arulagna is the overall status of the person, and the quadrants and trines from Arulagna are things that increase the status of the person. So if this Dharpada is in a quadrant or trine from Arulagna, his interactions with the world increase his status. When he goes around and meets with people will say, oh my God, what a great person, or what a rich person, or what a famous person. So there is a good chance if A7 is in a quadrant or trine from AL, or A7 contains a strong planet, there is a good chance that this person is well known, or he is a lucky person basically in the society, as seen by the society. On the other hand, if you take the next verse, षष्ठेष्टमे व्यवस्थाने जातो दारपदे धनः पदे तत्सप्तमे वापि केन्द्रे वृद्धौ त्रिकोणके सुवीर्य संस्थितः ख्यात भार्या भर्तृ सुखप्रदः. Okay, let's pause. षष्ठेष्टमे व्यवस्थाने jato dharapade dhanaha. If the Dharpada is in the 6th house or 8th house or Vyaya, from where? Arulagna, obviously. Then Adhanaha means he doesn't have much money. So if the Darapada is actually not in a Kendra Kona, not in a Kendra or a Kona, but in a 6th or 8th or 12th house from Aru Lagna, it's not good for the person. The person will be not so well off. Again, the idea being interactions of this person with the world are not increasing his status but demeaning to his status or pulling his status down. But then you can't really use thumb rules like this. There may be somebody who has A7 in the, let's say, 6th house from AL. But the thing is, 6th house from AL may be tangible. I mean, 6th house is the house of fighting. So he may be seen as somebody, his interactions, tangible interactions with the world may be seen as, may seem his status or personality look like he is a fighter. So that kind of things are also possible. It's not necessary that the person will be weak, the person will be poor. It is also possible that his interactions with the world will be that of somebody who fights, etc. So it is just one possibility what Parasara covered. The next verse is Pade tat saptamevapi kendre vruddho trikonake suvirya sansidah kheta bharya bhartru sukha pradah. Pade tat saptamevapi means Pade tat saptamevapi. In the Pada or in the 7th house from there. Vapi Kendre Vruddho Trikonake means Kendre in a Kendra, Vruddho means Vruddhi gains are 11th house. Vruddhi basically means growth. It is a synonym for Upajaya basically. Upajayas are the house of growth, increase. So Vruddho, very likely he is talking about Upajayas. So in a Kendra, Padedat Saptamevapi, in the 1st house or the 7th house, Kendre Vruddho Trikonake, or in an Upajaya or in a Trikona or in a Kendra from Pada. Suvirya Samsidah Kheta Bharya Bhartu Sukha Pradaha. Suvirya Samsidah Kheta. Suvirya means good strength. Samsidah Kheta. If a planet is well placed in strength, then Bharya Bhartu Sukha Pradaha. He gives happiness from husband or wife, etc. So why is he concluding happiness from husband or wife from Pada, from Aruh Lagna? Well, the bottom line is Aruh Lagna is not the most important Arudha if you want to talk about marriage. Because if you see the next chapter, he is going to talk about Upada. And he will give very specific results relating to husband and wife. So this is not the most important thing, but this is the root of everything. The Arudha Lagna, the Arudha Pada of the Lagna of the 1st house is the most important one. So it not only shows overall status of the person, but how happy he is, how is his marital life, how is his wealth, so many things, how is his career. For all those things, that is basically the seed. So from that point of view, if Aruh Lagna is in the Aruh Lagna or in the 7th from there, if there is a strong planet, it shows good status. So there is a chance that he will also have a good marriage. But this is a very secondary kind of indication. This is not a primary indication. Padaddarapade chaivam Kendre Koneja Samsthite Dvayor Maitri Bhavennunam Trike Vairam na Samsayah. Padaddarapade chaivam Kendre Koneja Samsthite. If from Pada, from Aruh Lagna, if Darapada is in a Kendra or Kona, if the Darapada is in a quadrant or a trine from the Aruh Lagna, then what? Dvayor Maitri Bhavennunam. Of the two means husband and spouse and the person. Dvayor Maitri Bhavennunam. Bhavennunam means will be, shall be. Trike Vairam na Samsayaha. So the thing is, if they are in, he is not saying mutual quadrants or trines. What he is saying is, if the Darapada is in quadrant or trine from the Aruh Pada. So Aruh Lagna is the main difference. And if you see Darapada in a well placed from it, then it means the relationship will be friendly. On the other hand, if Darapada is in 6th or 8th or 12th house, that means there will be enmity. Evam lagna padat vipra tanayadi pade sthite Evam Lagnapadad Vipra. Like this from the Arudha Lagna, O Brahmin, Tanayadi Pade Sthite. Tanaya means child. Tanayadi Pade means children, etc. Padas, if they are well, Sthite means placed. Mitra Mitre Vijayaniya Labha Labho Vichakshanaha. Then you see friendliness, enmity, etc. and also profit and loss, etc. So he is saying the Arudha Pada of any house, if it is well placed from Arudha Lagna, that area will flourish. On the other hand, if Arudha Pada of a house is placed in Dusthanas from Arudha Lagna, then that house will suffer. Simple rule. Now the thing is, some principles that we have learnt earlier at SJC, Sri Jagannath Center, like Arudha Lagna shows the native, Upada shows the wife. So if Upada is in the 12th from Arudha Lagna, then wife will be ignored by the native. If Arudha Lagna is in the 12th from Upada, then person will be ignored by the wife. He is not saying any such thing. So let us keep our mind open on those things. They may or may not be accurate. He is saying Arudha Lagna is the basis of your personality. And various other Arudhas, they are also part of you. Upada is not necessarily your wife. It is basically your marriage. Your marriage is part of you, part of your life. So these are all A5, A7, UL. These are all your own aspects of your own personality. And if some Arudha Pada is well placed from Arudha Lagna, that aspect of your personality will be strong. Whereas if it is weakly placed, then that aspect of your personality will be suffering. The next line is, where are we? Lagnadara Pade Vipra, Lagnadara Pade Vipra, Mitah Kendra Gate Yadi, Lagnadara Pade Vipra, Mitah Kendra Gate Yadi, Trilabhayo Strikodeva, Tatha Raja Dharadhipaha. Okay. Lagnadara Pade Vipra, if the Lagnadara Pade Vipra, Mitah Kendra Gate Yadi. So if the seventh house, the pada of the seventh house from Lagna, if it is in a Kendra, Trilabhayos Trikoneva, or it is in the third house or 11th house or a trine. He covered basically every house except 6, 8, 12, right? Oh no, second house is also not covered. So basically 3 and 11 Kendras and Konas. If the Darapada is in one of those houses from the Lagna Pada, from the Arudha Lagna, then Raja Dharadipaha. Then the person will be a king who rules the earth. Raja Dharadipaha. Evam Lagna Pada. Why? I mean, this is too specific result. Don't jump to the conclusion, because what is the probability of this happening? You are talking about the 4 quadrants, 2 trines, I mean, because first house is already covered. So 4 plus 2, 6 houses. On top of it, 2 more houses, 3 and 11. So you have 8 houses covered. 8 out of 12. So probability is 2/3. So 2/3 of the people will have this combination. So you can't say it will be everybody will be a king. It's not like 2/3 of the people on this earth are kings who rule earth. So bottom line is, it is good basically. It is good for the status, as we have seen before. Evam lagna padadeva dhanadi padato dvija sthanadvayam samalokya jatakasya phalam vadet. Evam lagna padadeva. Like this, from the lagna pada, dhanadi padato dvija. From the lagna pada, you see the dhanapada, etc. various padas. You see how they are placed, and then you give the result of the native. So that is what Parasara is saying. So bottom line is, any Arudha pada, if it is placed in the 6th, 8th and 12th from the Arudha lagna, that Arudha will suffer. The area shown by that Arudha pada will be problematic in life. Whereas if the Arudhas are placed in Kendras and Konas, and perhaps in 3 and 11, then they will flourish. So that is the bottom line. Okay, we will do Upada in the next class. We will wrap up the BPHS here. So we finished chapter 29. Next class we are going to start chapter 30. So that will be Opada, marriage. So that is, I'll just start re-recording. This is a short one. Okay, we'll see an example. The data is 1975, June 27, 4:45 p.m. and the time zone is, time zone is 6 hours east of GMT, and the place is Jaffna, Sri Lanka, 80 degrees east, 9 degrees 40 minutes north. Okay. So the Lagna is 10 degrees 53 minutes Scorpio, and moon is at 24 degrees 54 minutes Capricorn. Okay. So what are the things we know, and what are the things we were asked to see? Can you tell me? One second. She got married. She got married when? Jan 21st, 2001. Okay. Joined first job on 1999, January 4. Okay. Came to US April 1995. Okay. Okay. Worked as an electrical. Worked as an electrical design engineer. Currently software. Currently software testing. Okay. Years. Okay. Okay. Sure.
What is her purpose in this spiritual information in this life?
Okay. Okay. So the events we know are: she got married on January 21, 2001. She joined her first job on January 4, 1999. She came to USA in April 1995. She worked as an electrical design engineer, and currently she is working in software as a software testing, and she has been doing that for 10 years. And she has some spiritual interest, and she is running her Atmakarakas Dasa. So she is interested in knowing what is the spiritual trajectory, how does the spiritual trajectory look like, any guidance on spiritual issues, and also in general, how is life in Jupiter Dasa. Okay. No, nothing specific like children or KV or, okay. What is the specific issue that she is interested in? Okay, what is the first one? Okay, how is Jupiter Mahadasha? Okay. Okay. Okay, so her first question is, why Jupiter Dasha right now, Atmakaraka in Vargottama, why is that Dasha not giving recognition? Okay.
This is a question with respect to our concept.
Yeah.
Like I have Ketu and 12th house from Atmakaraka Jupiter.
Okay.
I'm not a great believer of Ganesha, but I used to be in childhood. Now her spiritual practice is basically meditation.
Okay.
And her question is, how can I put my spiritual path towards the best way? Any mantra suggested will be good.
Okay.
And there is also a third question.
Okay.
According to Saptamsa, the first child should have been a boy, but she's asking why was it a girl? And she would
When was the first child born? First child girl.
December 19, 2005.
Oops. 1 second. A girl, December 19. So her first child, a girl, was born on December 19, 2005, and she wants to know why it's a girl and not a boy. Okay, second child, girl, October 1st, 2008. Okay, and then second child was also a girl. She was born on 2008 October 1. So she wants to know why the first child was a girl and not a boy. She's yeah, I can tell that from the questions. Okay. Okay.
So she's asking if at all there is a possibility for both.
Okay. So she wants to know if she can have a boy. Okay. We'll see now. First, let us see if the data makes sense. Okay. So she got married on 2001 January 21. Does it make sense? First of all, is there any special dasha that applies? No. Right? Unless Navamsa Lagna is off and it's in Vargottama, which means 10 minutes later, 10 minutes 39 seconds. So unlikely. So let us say that Vimshotri is the dasha. So if you use Vimshotri dasha, what is the dasha running right now? Jupiter dasha started in 1999. That is when all these things started happening in life. So anyway, marriage occurred on 2001 January 21. That is Guru dasha. Guru dasha, Guru Mahadasha. Guru Mahadasha, Guru Antardasha. So major period and minor period were of Jupiter. And why did Jupiter give marriage? Let us see. In the Navamsha, Jupiter is sixth lord in the sixth house with the Lagna lord. Does he, can you explain why Jupiter Dasha should give marriage? Okay. So if Lagna is, you are saying Virgo. Okay. So the suggestion is that Lagna could probably be Virgo. How much should the time change for that? Only 4 minutes, 3 minutes 50 seconds. So if we change the time back by 4 minutes, what is the given time to us? 4:45. If we change it to 4:41, then in Navamsa, Jupiter will be the seventh lord. Whether he is in the seventh house or not, he is at least the seventh lord. Then he can explain, right? So that is the suggestion. Okay. Leo. It shouldn't make that much difference. Jagannatha versus Lahiri doesn't make that much difference. Did you put the 6 hours east of GMT? Did you put 6:30? Yeah. Okay. The Lahiri and Jagannath Lagna degree hardly any difference. It's just 1 Atmanic difference. Okay. So far we think that Lagna could be off by 4 minutes backwards. Let us check out a few other data points. Tithi Pravesh. Which year was it? 2001. So let's make 2000 because 2001 January, before the birthday. So 2000 Tithi Pravesh chart. Where is the natal sun? Natal sun is in Gemini. Okay. So Jyeshtha Krishna Chaturthi. So the Tithi Pravesh of year 2000 was on June 21. That is when Jyeshtha Krishna Chaturthi returned with 39.84% left. So June 21 at 3:52:40 AM. That is when Tithi Pravesh occurred. Does this year show chance of a marriage? Let us see. The Hora Lord is Mars. Okay. For me? He is in Lagna with Venus. Karaka Venus. Okay. Now, does it explain marriage in the year? Actually, how close are we to the border? Now, 2 minutes 23 seconds later, Navamsa Lagna will change. Before not. So we can actually see if it. We can see if this makes sense. Which dasha gave the marriage? 2001 January 21, right? So that is Venus Dasha. So Venus Dasha gave marriage. Does it make any sense? Venus is the sixth lord, right? Right? But he is also he is the Karaka of marriage and he is the dispositor of the seventh lord. So can he give marriage? For me? Yeah. Yes, Rashi chart is the seventh lord, he is placed in the third house and all that. Now, 1 second. So, in the Navamsha, Venus is actually in the 12th house. Right? In the Navamsha, if Mars and Venus are together, would it be a good combination? Mars is the 5th lord. He is also the 12th lord, but he is the 5th lord. And Venus is the 6th lord. Now the thing is, if we change the time back by 4 minutes, like we wanted to do earlier, based on the natal chart. If we do that, now if we make the chart, you will see that, of course, Lagna is still Sagittarius, but it is 15 degrees Sagittarius. And Venus would be in the first house. Earlier, Venus was in the 12th house. Which explains better his giving marriage? Would Venus in the first house make more sense, or Venus in the Karaka of marriage, Venus being in the first house or 12th house? First house, okay. And he is with Mars, the ruler of the year. So both ruler of the year and Karaka of marriage, they are together. But pardon me? Mars is in? No? Why? Lagna is at 15. We moved Lagna back, so he will not go back. He will either go forward or stay the same. Okay. So if we take this time in the Navamsha, taking houses based on the actual divisional longitudes, we see that Mars and Venus are together in the first house. And though Venus owns the 6th house, he is basically the Karaka of marriage. And he is with the ruler of the year. And more importantly, he is the dispositor of the 7th lord. So he has a link with the 7th house basically. He is not only the Karaka, but he has a link with the 7th house, and he is linking that with the Lagna, being in the Lagna. Now another thing you have to consider is, it's not just the Lagna that you see, you also see Venus as Lagna and Moon as Lagna. So if you say Moon as Lagna, what is happening with Moon as Lagna? He is the 5th lord in the 7th house. And now, are there any other factors? Do you want to say Vivahasahamam? Do you want to see where the Vivahasahamam is? Vivahasahamam is at 21 degrees Pisces. 21 degrees Pisces. Does it have any link at all with the ruler of the year or 7th lord or somebody of interest? Not really, right? (21 degrees Pisces). And anybody aspecting it? Not really. Nobody has aspect on it. And its lord, is he in the 7th house or something? No, its lord Jupiter is in the first house. So there isn't anything interesting going on with respect to Vivahasahamam. And in the Navamsha, there is some possibility basically. Venus being the dispositor of the 7th lord in the 7th from Moon and placed in the Lagna, aspecting the 7th house, maybe there is some chance. But the thing is, quite honestly, do we see that when we see this chart, do we jump up and say this makes perfect sense? Not really, even with the change time. So something is not really falling in place yet. Okay, let us go to coming to US. April 1995 she came to US. What Dasha was running? Jupiter Dasha, right? No, this was Rahu. We'll take this time, and we will keep in mind that this is already 4 minutes back compared to given time. So it was Rahu Dasha, Venus Santat Dasha, right? Rahu Venus gave foreign residence. Does it make sense? Pardon me? Rahu is the Karaka for foreign journey, absolutely, absolutely, and not only that, which house is Rahu occupying here? He is in the sign occupied by Lagna, but which house is he in? Lagna, with the time we have taken, is at 9 degrees 57 minutes 45 seconds Scorpio. Rahu is at 5 degrees 41 minutes Scorpio. So he is actually in the 12th house, house-wise. So Rahu is not only Karaka for foreign residence, but in the Rashi chart he is in the 12th house. How about Venus? Is he in the 9th house? Yeah. Both are in watery signs. One in 9th house, one in 12th house. So perfect candidates for giving foreign residence. Rahu, Venus, Venus, Rahu, these are all excellent candidates. Okay? So that makes excellent sense. Moreover, Venus is not only in the 9th house, he is aspected by the 9th Lord. 9th Lord, Moon is at 24 degrees 51 minutes, Capricorn. Venus is at 26 degrees 45 minutes. So within couple of degrees, Moon and Venus are exchanging aspects. And moreover, Venus is the 7th Lord, also 12th Lord. So 12th Lord in the 9th house, 7th Lord in the 9th house, having aspect of the 9th Lord. So it's a great combination. So Rahu and Venus show perfectly going abroad. Anything interesting in the Chaturthamsa? Again in the Chaturthamsa, Rahu is, if you go to Chaturthamsa, Rahu is, for me, not really in the 9th house, he is in the 10th house, and but he is Karaka of foreign residence as we said earlier. And how is Venus? His Lagna Lord debilitated. Debilitated Lagna Lord can give going displacement. And how is Venus? Venus is, he is in Lagna, he is in the 3rd house, but he is 9th Lord. 9th Lord in the 3rd house aspecting 9th house. So again he can, Venus is a good candidate for giving foreign residence. So this makes sense. Now let us see, actually is anything on the border, because this Lagna makes good sense. Nothing is on the border, so this is useless to us. So let us go to the annual chart of 1995. Was it 95 or when did she go? April 95. So we should make 94 annual Pravesh chart. So the chart is made on 1994 June 27. If you go to the Tithi Pravesh chart, who is the ruler of the year? Saturn is the Hora Lord. April, do you know when? You don't know. Okay. So it is either Moon Dasha or Mars Dasha. In the, as per Tithi Ashtotri. Moon or Mars, one of them, do they explain going abroad? Not really Moon, but Mars makes very good sense, because in the Rashi chart, Mars is the 9th Lord. He is the 9th, Mars is the 9th Lord. And secondly, in the Chaturthamsa chart, Mars is the 12th Lord aspecting, right? He is the 12th Lord. He is the 12th Lord aspecting the 12th house. 12th Lord aspecting the 12th house, so he can take the person abroad. So Mars has a very good chance. And how is the any Sahamas, interesting Sahamas? Jalapatra and Pardesha, okay? Let's see that. Jalapatra Sahamam is at 27 degrees Scorpio. So that's in the 9th house, owned by Mars. So Jalapatra Sahamam is in the 9th house, owned by Mars, whose Dasha probably took her abroad. And Pardesh Sahamam is at 7 degree Gemini. Is there anything interesting with it? Mercury is very close to it. And Mercury is the Bhaska Lord. Right? Mercury is the 7th Lord and Bhaska Lord, and he is very close to the Pardesh Sahamam. So there is a very good indication. So Mercury Dasha and Mars Dasha, these are the two Dashas that you would expect. And probably it happened in the Mars Dasha, because she said April. Probably in the second half of April. Okay, so this makes sense, but again, does it help? Well, if the time changes back by 5 minutes 14 seconds, then this will change. So it doesn't really help us. What other things do we know? Child. And what else? Career. Let us go to the career. Dashamsha. We know about the career statically. Right? What do we know? Oh, by the way, 4 seconds earlier, Dashamsha Lagna is going to change. Oh, sorry. Not really, this is not helpful, because from the changed time, if it goes back another 4 minutes, Lagna will change. So this change time as well as the original time have the same Dashamsha Lagna. So it doesn't really help us. But let's at least say, because there are some question marks on this chart, Navamsha we weren't very sure. Yeah? First let's see D10 and then D24. In the D10, her career, does her career make sense? What is her career? We said software testing, right? Does it make any sense at all? Does it make any sense at all? Tell me. Does the career make any sense? The 10th Lord, who's the 10th Lord? Who's the 6th Lord? And who's the 2nd Lord? Who will give career? And what career? Let us quickly look at the Dashamshas. Mercury is in Yamamsha. Mercury is in Yamamsha, okay. Sun is in Niritamsha. Moon is in Agnyamsha. Okay. Tell me, who shows the career? Who shows the career and why? Who shows the career and why? The software testing career makes sense at all. Yeah, but for Lagna to be Virgo, we have already changed the time back by 5 minutes. It has to be another 4 minutes back. That doesn't make sense. See, Moon is the Lagna 10th Lord, right? Moon is in Agnyamsha. He is in the 8th house. Why does it show software career? Software testing. Tell me. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Right. Yes. Yeah.
We tried with 5:30 east of GMT.
Yeah.
And with 5:30 east of GMT, we got Sagittarius as well.
Yeah.
In detail.
Yeah. And Mercury is the 10th Lord and he is in Yamamsha. He is Mercury, yeah.
And then 6th house, initially she is in electronic design engineering.
Yeah.
So the influence
Mars.
of Mars is also
Yeah.
seen. So అందుకనే
So you guys took 5:30, okay.
we took
Right,
5:30 and then we were able to trace this what
Could you explain other things then? Marriage, etc.
yes sir 5:30
Interesting.
the Lagnas here are off by 3 times right now. If you want to have something like in the future start there.
Okay. So if this is the case, let's quickly see. But the thing is, this is unfortunate. We should actually have data accurately. The time zone, we should actually. Yeah. Maybe if the software, basically what I did is the data that I got from public domain, I put it. But there may be some errors in some countries. some kind of errors were pointed out to me by some people. So I don't know if the Sri Lanka time zone is correct or not. Okay. So marriage happened in Jupiter Dasha, right? Why Jupiter Dasha gave marriage? Because he is Lagna Lord. Okay, Lagna Lord with Venus. Good. Now what about the annual chart? 2000 annual chart?
The fact that it was very plain and D9 we didn't even
Okay. Oh, I see. Let's now that we want to, let's see Tithi Pravesh. In the Tithi Pravesh, it was Venus Dasha that gave marriage. And why Venus Dasha gave marriage? But the thing is, 2 minutes earlier, Lagna will change. But again,
But is it in practice?
for me,
Pakistan they do
I know. Pakistan, the time zone is 5 hours, not 5:30. I'm not sure if Sri Lanka uses 5:30 like India, or they use 6. And the fact that somebody born in Sri Lanka specifically wrote 6, yeah, so she probably, that is the right one. Okay, let's assume that her data is right, 6 hours, and let's continue. So Navamsha we already saw, we're okay with the Rashi chart, but the Tithi Pravesh we weren't very confident, but we could explain it, and we change the time back by 4 minutes. So let's go with that, and let us go to Dashamsa. Does Dashamsa make sense? Can you explain her software career with this Dashamsa? Okay.
She also tried to start her own business twice.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. What kind of business do you know? Okay. Now, if you take, instead of taking 445, 441 that we changed to explain Navamsa, if you just stick with 445, the original time, right, then the Dashamsa Lagna will be at 18 degrees 50 minutes Libra, right? If you take 441, it will be 9 degree 38 minutes Libra. On the other hand, if you take 445, it is actually 18 degrees. Why that is of interest is, Mercury is at 13 degrees in Libra. So if it just crosses Mercury's longitude, what that means is Mercury is not in the 11th house, but is in the 10th house. So Mercury and Jupiter will be in the 10th house, not in the 11th house. So 10th house having Mercury's influence, and Mercury is in Yamamsa. Mercury can show dealing with computers, etc., software, etc. And being in Yamamsa, he can show software testing. So such a Mercury in the 10th house, that too with the 6th lord. The 6th lord with Mercury in the 10th house can show software career. So probably time is not 441. Time is probably either 445 or maybe 444, but still with the Lagna in Dashamsa being above Mercury's longitude. Now, for me, 6th lord Jupiter, he will be in the 10th house, because if you look at the divisional longitude, Lagna is at 18 degrees in Libra, 1850 Libra, and Jupiter is below that longitude, so they will be in the previous house. Okay, look at the Dashamsa. So this can explain a software career. Also the thing is, most of the Jupiter Dasha is, if you look at the Dashas, it was pretty much in the Jupiter Dasha that her career basically progressed. She joined her first job on January 4, 1999, right? But January 4, 1999 was before Jupiter Dasha started. That was in Rahu, Mars Dasha. No, Rahu is in the 11th house. But he is the 5th lord. 5th lord can give a career. See, Rahu is at 27 degree Leo. So he is in the 11th house. But my point is, he is the 5th lord. So 5th lord can give career. He can initiate the career. So Rahu Dasha can initiate the career. But the bottom line is, most of our career happened during Jupiter Dasha. So it is basically Jupiter and Mercury who are in the 10th house. It is that Dasha basically. Now, how do we reconcile with Navamsa? If you go back to the Navamsa chart, why did Jupiter Dasha give marriage in that case? How do you reconcile? How can you reconcile that? Well, a few points. One, taking Lagna as reference. True. From Lagna, Jupiter is in the 6th house, but he is the 6th lord in the 6th house. He is basically giving a good yoga. He is giving Harsha yoga. Secondly, he is with 8th lord. So 8th lord and 6th lord being together in the 6th house is Viparita Raj Yoga. Venus is also 8th lord, not just Lagna lord, right? Oh, okay. So Venus is in the 5th house. That's even better. So if Lagna lord is in the 5th house and Jupiter is 6th lord alone in the 6th house, so he is giving a clean Harsha yoga. Now, Lagna is not the only reference. If you take the Venus Lagna and Moon Lagna, those are the other two Lagnas which are important for seeing marriage. From Venus Lagna, Jupiter is Lagna lord in Lagna. And as a matter of fact, in this chart, Venus Lagna is very powerful. Why? He is exalted. So from Parashara says, take Sun as Lagna for father, Moon for mother, Venus for marriage, etc. So taking Venus as Lagna, Jupiter is Lagna lord in Lagna. So he is very powerful. He is aspecting the 7th house. So, and also he is aspecting the 7th lord Mercury, right? So because of that, he can give marriage. Secondly, taking Moon as Lagna, right? Moon can also be taken as Lagna according to Parashara. Sun, Moon, Lagna, and then the Karka. So from Moon as Lagna, Moon is at 14 degrees in Leo. Jupiter is at 8 degrees in Pisces. So actually he is in the 7th house. Jupiter is in the 7th house from Moon, in the Navamsa, if you take the houses based on divisional magnitudes. So he is in the 7th house from Moon. He is aspecting the 7th house and 7th lord from Venus, and he is the Lagna lord of Venus in Lagna. So that can make him, irrespective of the Lagna placement, that can make him a strong giver of marriage, right? Now let us see, you guys wanted to see the Chaturvimshamsa, right? What did she study? Electrical engineering? Okay. Now can we explain the electrical engineering? That is the question. Can we explain electrical engineering? The 9th house, taking this as Lagna without change, taking the original time. BSc in what? Just BSc. Yeah. So some diploma or something in electrical engineering? Okay. Okay. So basically the 9th house contains Mars Rahu Ketu combination, and the 2nd house, basically if you take the masters, that also is owned by Mars. So there is a Mars influence on the bachelors as well as masters. So electrical engineering education, either at a very specialized level or at a generic level, generic basic professional level, is basically possible. So even Siddhamsa seems fine. Now let us see Saptamsha. Right. Now Saptamsha, we don't have much leeway. Whether time is back by 10 minutes or 8 minutes forward, it is the same Lagna. So this is basically mostly accurate, Saptamsha Lagna, given the time zone is accurate. And so far actually most things are falling in place now, right? So let us go with this chart and let us see Saptamsha. Childbirth. 2005 December 19, first child. 2005 December 19. What Dasha was running then? Jupiter Dasha. Which Antardasha? Is it Mercury? Yes, Mercury. So Jupiter Dasha, Mercury Antardasha gave the first child. Why? And why is it a girl? That is the question. Why is it a girl? It's an even sign. It's an even sign. Are there any parivartanas? There aren't any parivartanas. It's an even sign, so we count backwards. Fifth house is Pisces, right? Huh? Pisces is supposed to show a boy, right? You don't count Jupiter. If he is with another planet, you count that planet. So Pisces is basically based on odd and even. Pisces is even, but Aquarius and Pisces and Gemini and Cancer are reversed. So it should show a girl based on the standard rules. And then what about the dasha? Why did it happen in Jupiter Mercury dasha? Tell me. Why did it happen in Jupiter Mercury dasha? That is the question. That is my question. Jupiter, being the lord of that sign of the fifth house, can give child. Why did Mercury give? Why did Mercury give a child? Yes. If you count the houses, right? D7 Lagna is at 16-11 Cancer, and Mercury is at 6 degrees 15 minutes Aries. So actually, it seems like he is in the 10th house, but he is in the 9th house. So Mercury is in the 9th house, which is basically the house, the reference for the first child. So actually, he is in the first house, taking the fifth house counted reverse as the first house for the first child. Okay. For me?
Mercury is being there, that's why the girl, not the Pisces.
Right. Is Mercury debilitated there? No. I just want to make sure that you are not thinking like that. It's not like Mercury is in Pisces. He is in Aries only, but he is in the first house. Because the first house extends from, depending on whether you take the house itself or you take Jupiter's longitude. If you take the fifth lord as Lagna, right? Jupiter, where is he? He is at 13 degree Pisces. So from 13 Pisces to 13 Aries, that is the first house. So you see all planets being there. Then basically Jupiter is with Mercury. Now the thing is, Jupiter, the sign he is occupying Jupiter, but it is more likely to show boy. But he is with Mercury. Mercury can show either a boy or a girl. He is basically a neutral planet. But the thing is, my bottom line is, there is another influence. It's not a clear case of a boy basically. And when there is a Mercurian influence, it can end up being a girl. And moreover, the Antardasha running at that time was Mercury Antardasha. So it's basically Mercury is being pronounced. So probably if you make the chart of the girl, the first child, probably there will be a good influence of Mercury on the chart. Apart from Jupiter's influence, there will be a strong influence of Mercury. Now, why?
We don't see any dusty.
No, you can.
Venus is actually 9th.
Yeah. What is the longitude of Venus? Is it close aspect? Yes, it is. It's half aspect. There is a half aspect of Venus on that house, right? If you take Jupiter, who is at 13 degree Pisces, Venus has half aspect, right? So that is also there. And Moon is he aspecting? Moon has 3/4 aspect. Saturn has 3/4 aspect. So Moon and Saturn have 3/4 aspect, and Venus has half aspect. So there are all these influences are coming. So there is some basis for a girl to be born. A boy shown by Jupiter who is alone in Pisces. Now he said Jupiter with Mercury. Now secondly, let's see the Tithi Pravesh. In the Tithi Pravesh, does it explain? 2005, right? 2005 December 19. So Hora Lord is Mercury. Hora Lord is Mercury. in the Saptams, what Dasha gave child? Can you see which Dasha gave child? December when? 19? December 19. 2005 December 19 is Venus Dasha. Does it make sense? Venus giving a child, does it make sense? He is the fifth lord, but he is actually in the 12th house. Okay, keep going. How do you see the first? Is it 6th house or 9th house? How do you see? This is kept. So you count that. There, if you want to see any events relating to the birth or whatever, you take the 9th house, you take the 5th house counted back. So that is Virgo. Who's the lord of it? Mercury. Where is he? Even sign. No, I'm not talking about even sign. You don't keep doing that. Take Mercury as Lagna basically, right? So Mercury, where is he? He is at 20 degrees Cancer. No, that's D12. 11 degrees 58 minutes. So he is at 12 degrees Capricorn. He is at 12 degrees Capricorn. As Lagna. Taking 12 degree Capricorn as Lagna, look at the chart. How various planets are. Right? So if you do that, where is Venus? The one who actually ended up giving child. He is actually in first house. He is the fifth lord in the first house. Yokaraka, right? Taking this as Lagna. This as Lagna. 11 Capricorn 58 as Lagna. Venus at 17 degree Capricorn is in the first. First house. Apart from all this analysis, just simple analysis is then 5th lord and 9th lord are together. There is a Rajoga being given by Mercury and Venus. So that is good basically. As far as children are concerned, there is something good happening this year. There is a good yoga. 5th house is 4. Okay, so this also makes sense. Can we conclude that? Okay, if the time is 4 minutes later, it will change. 12 minutes previously, it changes. So we don't seem to be able to find a narrow window based on any event that we saw. But the time we have seems to explain everything so far. What about the second child? Do you want to see the second child or just? Why don't we see it? 2008 October 1. 2008 October 1. What dasha was running? Ketu probably over. Jupiter Venus perhaps? Yeah. Jupiter Venus under dasha. Jupiter Venus 2008 October 1. October 1. Okay. Does it make any sense at all? Pardon me? Who shows the first child? Who shows the second child? Capricorn. So Saturn. Where is Saturn? 6 degrees Sagittarius. So you take 6 degrees Sagittarius. So if you do that, so second child. First of all, he is odd sign, so he is boy. But who are the planets accompanying him? Moon is in the first house from him. What about Ketu? He also is in the first house. Ketu and Moon. It's a god. So we have several planets there. So that's two being a god. Probably there will be more than. Now, why Venus gave the child? Why did Venus give the child? Why did Venus give that child? Does that make any sense? Why did Jupiter Venus give that shade? For me, aspect in Saturn is the aspect in Saturn. There is hardly any aspect. He is simply in the 8th house. In 8th house, 8th house, 8th house from the. If you take the Lagna corresponding to the child, what are the houses that give him the birth? Yeah. What are you wondering? Yeah. No, he has nothing. He is simply in the 8th house. He is very close to the cusp of the 8th house. He is basically on the 8th house. Clearly on the 8th house. Either can the 3rd and 8th houses. Basically you are taking the Lagna of the first child. Can 3rd and 8th houses give a child? Not 3rd and 8th houses from the Lagna of the native, but the 3rd and 8th houses from the child's Lagna. 8th house is the house of longevity, and 3rd house is the first. Okay, see some more examples. You will actually encounter a lot of things there. First, 3rd, 8 and 11 will be seen for the. Now let's look at the Tithi Pravesh. 2008, right? So in this chart, the ruler of the area is Mars, and the birth occurred in, was it October 19? I think October 1. October 1. So that was, which dasha was it? Was it Jupiter? It was Jupiter dasha. So Jupiter dasha gave the second child. Does it make sense? Jupiter is okay. Lagna is at 7 degrees Gemini, so 7th house is Sagittarius, right? And 7th Lord, he shows the first child. So if you take the 7th Lord Jupiter, basically Jupiter shows the first child. Jupiter is at 29 degree Taurus. So you take 29 degree Taurus, you see. Jupiter is basically in Lagna. He is the 8th Lord in the Lagna. Okay. Second child. So this is the Lagna for the second child. So Jupiter is the planet basically. He is in the first house. He is the planet who is giving the second child. So in his dasha, second child being born is possible. And if you look at this from the Rashi point of view, Jupiter is in Lagna. So Jupiter is the Putrakaraka. He is in Lagna. So basically his dasha will show auspicious developments. And the Saptansya, from the point of view of second child, he is basically the one giving it. He is the 7th Lord. So there is a good chance that second child is born. Okay. Any other comments? Any other points you want to make? Okay, is there a possibility for second child? That's an interesting question. Third child. So first child is given by Pisces, second by Capricorn, third has to be given, if at all, by Scorpio. But the thing is, we are crossing Ketu there. Saturn, Ketu, Moon combination is there. Ketu, yeah. You basically, usually you don't cross Rahu and Ketu unless there is a strong planet there next to them. So if there is a strong Jupiter there or something, here Jupiter's aspect is there, but really Jupiter is not there is no Jupiter or anybody there. It's empty. And the lord of that sign, Mars, how is he? Even though he is strong, he is not really with Jupiter or something. He is with Mercury. He is not really a fertile planet. So the chance seems very unlikely. Moreover, let's see one more thing actually before we rule it out. Is conducive dasha running? If at all, it has to be basically okay. Actually, it has two lords, Mars and Ketu. Scorpio has two lords. Who's stronger? Ketu. So if you take Ketu basically, that is 9 degree Sagittarius, 10 degree Sagittarius has Lagna. So who are in the first house? Moon and Saturn is not. Moon is in the first house. Again, that's a girl. So there is a chance of a girl actually. And second point, this Ketu is, what is the dasha running right now? Still Jupiter. Jupiter is the lord of that sign. So there is some chance. What is the Antardasha? Ketu Antardasha is over. Venus is at the end, fag end. Sun Dasha. Is Sun related to this child? Not really. He is in the 9th house and he is in own sign, but he is in the 9th house. He is not really, moreover, he is not really a friend of Ketu or anything. So, not a great chance. Moon maybe. There is some chance in Moon Dasha. Right? In Moon Dasha there is some chance because he is in the first house. But the thing is to bring it about. There is a big condition that Ketu is the enemy Moon. Moon Saturn Ketu combination is there. So to protect them, Jupiter is not really strongly involved. Had Jupiter been with them or in Scorpio, there would have been a good chance. So I can't rule it out, but it's practically it's basically very little chance that there will be a successful third pregnancy which will result in a child. Moreover, from Scorpio, the Lord Ketu is actually in the second house. So the Moon Saturn Ketu combination in the second house, that suggests abortion. So if it's very unlikely that they have child, even if there is a good chance that it will be abortion. Even if not, it may end up being a girl, and her goal is to get a boy. So it's unlikely that that's going to happen. So I won't really suggest. She has two nice girls. I think she should be happy. That is my advice. Now the other question was spiritual. The question we haven't answered so far is relating to spirituality. Is there a spiritual potential? Okay. So her question is Ketu Ganesha, right? But like I said, Navamsha. Where is Jupiter? He is at 8 Pisces. Let's go to Navamsha. So Ketu is in the 10th house from Jupiter in the Navamsha. Reach Devata. You don't really see that Devata that they using the Navamsha. So that's not the chart that Parasha was talking about. The 12th from Atmakarka showing a deity that can take you towards moksha. That should be seen in Vimshamsa, the chart of spirituality. So if you see Vimshamsa, in the Vimshamsa, Atmakarka is Jupiter, you said, right? Yeah. No. Why? Oh, sorry. Jupiter. Okay. I have to switch to Rasi. Yes, Atmakarka is Jupiter. So, from Atmakarka Jupiter, in Vimshamsa, he is in Aquarius. Where in Aquarius? He is at 12 degree 14 minutes. Take the 12th house. The 12th house from there is 12 degree Capricorn, 21 degree Capricorn to 21 degree Aquarius. So, who are there? There is only one planet. Sorry, I am looking at wrong one. 12 degree Aquarius, 12 degree 14 minutes Aquarius is where Jupiter is there. But he is above Jupiter's longitude at 26 degrees. So he is in the first house, not the 12th house. Capricorn, who's there? Saturn. He is above 12 degrees. He is at 23 degrees. So Saturn is the only planet. Moreover, so Saturn is the 12th lord as well as 11th house. So Saturn is showing the So who does Saturn show? According to Parashara, Vishnu. Saturn, actually Saturn when he is in a he will show Vishnu. So here, what should we say? He is in Capricorn. Saturn is in Capricorn. For me? Wait. Saturn is in Capricorn. He is not associated with Mercury, and he is not in a benefic sign. He is in a malefic sign. Capricorn is a malefic sign. So Shani is so it is basically devatas like Kali, Durga, Chandi, their kind of devatas. Specifically to say who it will be, he did not give any guidelines. So let us see what are the modifying influences on this Saturn. Anybody aspecting Saturn? Mars at 16 degree 41 degree Gemini, 61 degree 41 minutes Gemini to 23:6. He has a very close aspect. Okay, that's an ignorable aspect because there is a lot of longitudinal difference. No, not really. Okay, it's close. So Venus, debilitated Venus and Mars. I will say my intuition is debilitated Venus showing a and Mars showing a variability. So Mars and Venus aspecting Saturn. Something like Chamundeshwari, Chandi, basically a warrior form of the Divine Mother. A tamasic form, a warrior form of the Divine Mother. So I will say Chandi or Chamundeshwari. So worshipping, trying to learn Chandi part or Durga Saptashloka, Chamunda, or if somebody worships Chamundeshwari where she is being initiated in the Chamundeshwari, it's a very good idea. I think that will be more appropriate than doing Ganesha or Vishnu or anybody else. That will help her the most. And apart from it, is there a spiritual potential in this chart? Does the chart hold spiritual potential? Well, Saturn is 7th and 8th lord in the 7th house. That is excellent for spiritual progress. He is Maraka. 7th and 8th lord in the 7th house is a clear Maraka. And that is very good for spirituality. And Mercury and Jupiter are in the 8th house is going on. Later the 8th lord Dasha will come. That will be even better. So Saturn Dasha should be good for spiritual progress. It is a good Dasha. And let us see the Drig Dasha quickly. Based on Drig Dasha, as far as Drig Dasha is concerned, she is running Leo Dasha now. Is Leo Dasha an interesting Dasha? It's okay. It's good. And what is the Dasha later? Around the time Saturn Dasha starts as per Vimshottari, Libra Dasha will come. Is Libra Dasha an interesting Dasha? In Libra Dasha, Aquarius will be the Lagna. Aquarius will be the first house. So Lagna Lord will be in the 5th house. Right? Jupiter in the it is good, nothing great. It's okay. How is Capricorn Dasha? That will be the Dasha. Capricorn from 2021 to 28. Capricorn Dasha, Gemini will be the Lagna. Right? For me? Sorry. Taurus, you are right. In Capricorn, Taurus will be the Lagna. So in Taurus, taking Taurus as Lagna, Mercury and Ketu are in Lagna. Ketu is the Karaka for spirituality and he is in Lagna. So there is an influence of Ketu on the personality. And for me, 12th Lord is in the 12th house. 12th Lord in the 12th is always a good combination. So there is a Ketu also. Okay. If you take the okay 10 5 okay good. So the bottom line is 21 to 28 will be a good Dasha for spiritual life. During that time in Vimshottari Dasha, what will be running? Saturn Dasha. So Venus, Sun and Moon are the Dashas. So in Saturn Dasha, Venus, Sun and Moon are there. Sun is particularly good. Sun Dasha in the Vimshamsha because he is in the 9th house with Rahu and Ketu. Good. Bottom line is there is some potential in this chart, spiritual potential. All seven planets should be in a Moon is not in the Malika, so it's not really a strong Graha Malika yoga. If Moon was also there, it would be a powerful yoga. That's okay, fine. Yeah. How do you see it? Okay. Because, well. Meditation is basically, she is doing a sadhana. Only thing is religion. There is Gurchandal yoga basically. That sadhana is a Gurchandal yoga. So it's not good for the 9th house. 9th and rather than rituals. So very unlikely that she will do it. Mars can make her do it. She is the 5th lord, she is in the 12th house. Mars can enable her to do some rituals, but Mars period is not running right. So that's okay. Not everybody needs to do rituals. This is actually, this is a meditation chart. Actually, pranayama will be a good idea for her. Because why am I saying it? Saturn is a very powerful planet in Shamsa. If you look at the Rashi chart, Saturn is in the 8th house with Sun. There is a Sun-Saturn combination, right? Sun-Saturn combination. So both are actually in the 8th house. So 8th house contains Sun and Saturn combination. So because of that, a lot of people these days don't breathe right. When you breathe in, your stomach, if you breathe with the diaphragm, as you breathe in, lungs should expand. Lungs should get the air and they should expand. And when they expand, they should also expand down and push the diaphragm, which is basically a big muscle below the lungs, separating the lungs from the stomach. It should push the diaphragm down, and as a result, stomach should protrude. Stomach should come out when you breathe in. And when you breathe out, stomach is basically pulled in, diaphragm goes up, and the lungs are contracted. That is the ideal breathing. Then what happens is you are able to take more air and you are able to actually absorb that oxygen into your body. Whereas what happens these days is stomach protruding out is considered bad basically. It's considered unhealthy. So the modern lifestyle basically, what people end up doing is there is a conscious effort to actually make sure the stomach doesn't come out. So diaphragm is actually trained in a wrong way. So what happens is, as people are breathing in, they have to basically suck air with effort because they don't make enough space for it. They're sucking. So when the lungs are sucking things with effort, they are trained to suck the diaphragm also up. So what happens is, for many people, I have seen many people actually with this. It's not just theory. Many people, when they breathe in, the diaphragm is actually pulled up, and the stomach actually goes in a little bit. And when they breathe out, basically as the muscles in the lung are basically relaxing, so that air can go out, the lungs are relaxed at the bottom also. Basically the entire lungs are relaxed. They expand a little bit when they breathe in, breathe out. When they breathe in, they are pulled in a little bit. This is very unhealthy practice, because that will, instead of making more space for the air that's coming in, you are restricting the air that's coming in. So what happens is, it's a very unhealthy practice. You don't get enough oxygen, so you are always struggling. You're not healthy basically. If you are getting enough oxygen, you don't have to take a lot of deep breaths. You take few breaths every minute, you are still fine. On the other hand, if you are not taking enough oxygen in every breath, you have to breathe more times every minute to sustain the body. So what ends up happening is, all the muscles that are controlling the lungs, they are basically working extra hard. So she should check whether her breathing is right. My feeling is her breathing may not be right, or there may be some lung related problems. So go to somebody who can train her in pranayama well, and make sure that first of all, before doing any pranayama, make sure her breathing is right. When you're breathing in, lungs should basically expand, diaphragm should go down, and stomach should protrude, and she should feel comfortable. And when she breathes out, stomach should go in, diaphragm should go up, and lungs should basically contract. So first make sure that her breathing is corrected. Second, after the breathing is corrected, then start doing some pranayama. Every day, perhaps 10 minutes of Kapalabhati and 5 minutes of Anulom Vilom. So that kind of regimen if she has, it will be very good for her. So do some pranayama, and then after the pranayama, then meditate. That will increase the efficiency of her meditation. But especially because even though she is running Jupiter Dasha, Jupiter is not bad. Jupiter may not give her health problems, but Saturn is in the 8th house. So when his Dasha comes, he may give some health problems. So in order to avoid that, if she starts doing some pranayama, etc. from now onwards and controls her breathing, things may go relatively smoothly. Okay. Any other comments you want to make? Any other point? Yeah. It's another 5 years. Any other comments, any other pointers, any questions? Pardon me? I have no idea. I'm not aware of that term. What is her Bhukta Tithi Rashi? She says? Oh, I see. I have no idea. I have never heard that term. Anything else? Pardon me? Any dharma related activities you should be doing? Okay, let us see. What do you suggest? What do you suggest? In the Navamsa, 9th Lord Mercury is in the 10th house. Right? In the Navamsa, 9th Lord Mercury is in 10th house. And if you see the Dashamsa, because Navamsa is a Dharmamsa, see Karmamsa, which is Dashamsa. The 9th Lord again here in the chart of career is Mercury. Again he is in the 10th house. So in both Navamsa and Dashamsa, the 9th lord Mercury is in the 10th house. He is combining the dharma with the karma. So some Mercurian karma will be good for her. Right? And what Navamsa is he occupying? Dashamsa we know, but in Navamsa, as far as dharma is concerned, Mercury is in Manushya dharma. So there are basically, in the dharmamsa, planets will be either in Deva or Manushya or Rakshasa dharma. And Deva is things that are extremely sattvic. Manushya is Rajasic and Rakshasa is Tamasic. I am not saying you should do tamasic things, but the thing is dealing with tamas. So if it is Rakshasa, if a planet is in Rakshasa Navamsa, the right dharma represented by that planet will be dealing with tamasic things. Whereas if it is in Deva Amsa, it will be dealing with sattvic things. Here it is Manushya, so it is basically dealing with Rajasic things. So she should do something relating to some Rajasic things and relating to Mercury. So my suggestion would be, Mercury shows a lot of things, but one of the things he shows is libraries, education, etc. So either help some library, some university or college or library, some academic place basically, help such a place, or sponsor some children back in Sri Lanka for education. That will be very good for her. If she can sponsor the education of some children back in her motherland, that will be very good karma for her. That will be the right dharma for her. Okay. Any other questions? Why Jupiter Dasha is not giving her what? Recognition? Well, as far as Dashamsa is concerned, Jupiter is 6th lord, 3rd and 6th lord. He is a functional male figure, placed in the 10th house. She has a career, she should be happy. I mean, he is not like giving any Raj Yoga. Yes, he is Atmakarka, but the thing is, who said that Atmakarka gives recognition? Right, Rashi he is the 5th lord in the 5th house, right? But Rashi is the 5th lord in the 5th house, so there will be some areas of life where she is very happy. Like she got children, 5th lord in the 5th gave children in his Dasha. And Navamsa also, what is going on there? In Navamsa, he is the 6th lord in the 6th house. Nothing special, but he is okay. But the bottom line is, in the Dashamsa, as far as career is concerned, he is a functional malefic. As a matter of fact, even in Navamsa, he is a functional malefic. Yes, he is in Vargotama, but he is a functional malefic in Navamsa and Dashamsa. So why is she expecting a great Rajoga? I don't understand. I mean, if you look at the combination, it's 5th, 6th and 9th lords combining. It's not a Rajoga. Jupiter is actually 6th lord, ruining them. Without Jupiter, Mercury and Rahu together would be a Rajoga, 5th and 9th lords. Pardon me? Yeah, they are in Bhadasthana. But the thing is, Jupiter is not really giving a great yoga there. He is actually spoiling a Raj Yoga by being present there, being a functional malefic. Even in Navamsa, actually Navamsa he is fine. He is giving Dashamsa is not giving a great yoga. So I don't understand why she is expecting a Raj Yoga. Doesn't make sense to me. Any other comments? Okay, so with that we will end the class today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Dharmika Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Yavad Bhumandale Sanatana Dharmo Vadhatu Visashata Bharatakhande. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.